Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network and producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and Phil Svitek, this is iTalk Movies, long-form interviews with leading members of the film industry. And now, your host of iTalk Movies.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of iTalk Movies here on the Popcorn Talk Network. I'm your host, Alison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean. And today, I am joined by an actor who I can say in a pretty healthy manner, he is in everything. He is in everything.
In the literal sense.
And we're going to talk about not only his movie that's coming out next Friday, August 7th, 2015, The Gift, but we'll just talk about lots of things because he's awesome, and he is Tim Griffin. Hallelujah! Woo! Yeah,
Hallelujah.
I know. I don't know. I just figured I'd like add some quirky sound bites.
No.
Are we getting like a Chicago clip or no? Is it just not happening, James? It's just no music. All right. I tried.
We got Hallelujah. The Hallelujah chorus beats
Was that
anything.
good? Was that good? All right. So before we chat about hot dogs, before we chat about The Gift,
Straight to sponsorship, yes,
I know,
about
right?
The Gift, the
Yeah.
gift of hot dogs.
Before we chat about
and
the gift
how
of
they
hot
keep
dogs.
going. Yeah.
I thought we would do a little rapid fire question. Now you don't have to actually answer rapidly if you want to like tell us a little background. That's acceptable, but it's just like a get to know you.
All right.
Let us all get to know you.
This
just
is
a
going to
bit.
be, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready to get known.
Get known. Okay. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Okay, me too.
Oh, I nailed that one.
You did.
Sponsorship.
What is your go-to Starbucks drink?
I only don't drink coffee, so I drink the iced tea from Starbucks.
So that's your
Of
go-to.
the venti variety.
Which tea?
Any black tea.
Okay.
Any caffeine.
So no
tea.
green tea.
I'm not no.
All right, that's
I'm
fine.
not a
Hey,
green
it's
tea
not.
guy.
I'm not judging. I'm just
I'm not a
you know,
green tea
okay.
guy.
Okay.
There goes that
I
sponsorship.
try to be a green tea gal, and it's just like then
I know it's
still,
healthier. I just,
Right.
I'm more like Irish breakfast.
I'm
put
more
a
like
little milk in
coffee.
it. Right.
That's what I'm like. I'm like, give me the coffee.
You know what it is? And my parents are going to hate this story, but growing up, my parents could not, for they're very highly functional adults. My father's a pediatric cardiologist. My
Right.
mother's an entrepreneur and all of that. And they could not function without coffee. And growing up, you just amazed me that they were literally like zombies until they had their coffee. And my brother and I just probably tortured them because we knew that they needed that coffee fix. And so we'd ask all sorts of annoying questions in the morning. Anyway, I swore that I would never become an addict to the coffee.
I have.
However, anybody who knows me will tell you, my addiction to tea, iced tea and regular tea, will surpass any coffee addiction ever.
So you're like a zombie before your iced tea?
No, I never stopped drinking. It's the first thing I drink,
Oh.
I don't even know if it's I think it's actually in my bloodstream.
It
so
is.
I'm maintain the same because I never stop.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not drinking
When
it
Tim
now.
Griffin dies of
I know.
like whatever tannin overdosed or you know what did it.
Yeah, the black tea.
It's like the Black Plague. Go ahead, wrap it.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter, I suck at all forms of social media, but every show that I'm on is like, we got to get you tweeting more. So I think I'm going to, but I just did a movie with Kevin Hart and The Rock.
I know.
And apparently they are kings of Instagram and Twitter, and they were trying to basically take me under their wing and like
Train you?
baby step me into I think you're either all in or all out, and I'm just baby stepping my way in.
All right. I mean, you may improve.
I'm old school.
I did tweet you today, so it was a test because I was like, "Is he going to see it?" No, he did not.
I will
it's
now.
Okay. He'll this
You
evening
watch.
when he catches
You
up on
watch.
it. Favorite food?
Duet's deep dish pizza from Chicago.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
In fact, sometimes when I fly in, thank you, that's them calling right now. When I fly into Midway Airport, I sometimes
call?
go right to the restaurant.
I thought you were going to say
And I've
call
actually
them.
flown it out. It's actually, it's something you used to be able to do back in the days before people were, suspicious packages were being cent, I could actually fly out for my birthday, Chicago pizza.
But it's not the same as like going and eating it there, probably.
No,
Still.
going there, it's actually an institution.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, well, I need to add that.
Old school Chicago. There you go.
To my to-do list. Okay.
Don't.
To-do list. Least favorite food.
Least favorite food.
It's a hard one.
Mushrooms. Anything with mushrooms, I can't stand.
No fungus for you.
No fungus for me. There goes that political office, because I'm sure I just pissed off the mushroom lobby. That's like that Tim Griffin.
Darn it.
Didn't somebody come out against broccoli? I think it was George Bush. It's like, I hate broccoli.
Maybe.
And then everybody sent him bushels. Don't send me mushrooms. My wife loves them. She'll just eat them. So blah, blah, blah.
Perfect. So that actually could work in your favor.
Yeah, but don't send me mushrooms, because I
send
really
mushrooms.
don't want them. They're fungus.
Favorite candy.
Favorite candy. That's a good one.
It's hard, right? Kind of.
It's a hard one because you know it's so funny now that there's all these retro candies.
Yes.
And they brought back every candy from your childhood.
Right.
So I ate a lot of candy in my childhood, and some of I think marathon bars. Do you remember marathon bars? They would look like a chain link. It was actually a ripoff because it's basically half air. You know, it's like a belt. You know, like a woven belt where they'd have little pockets, and it was just a scam where they basically could give you a candy bar that looked that big, but it was full of holes.
Kind of like an Almond Joy. It looked so big, but then you're like, oh, it's only 2 little pieces.
Exactly. But I used to love
Sadness.
those. Whatchamacallit.
I like the name whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. Favorite color.
Probably blue.
I see. What did I knew? I knew. Yeah. Okay.
Cubby blue.
Beach or mountains?
Ooh. I don't. That's a good question. I don't know why I just went into an English accent.
It's okay that you did. I appreciated it.
That's a fascinating question. I'm going to say actually mountains, because I went to school in Vermont.
You did go to school in Vermont.
The Universitatis Veris Montis, University of the Green Mountains.
That was very fancy.
That's Latin. It's a dead language, so I don't know if my Latin was correct.
Well,
but nobody will know because it's a dead language.
So good. It sounded. I believed it.
I'm ready for Game of Thrones.
I think you are.
Valor Morghulis.
Favorite place to travel?
One of my favorite places was Ireland, and I love.
Can you give me your Irish accent?
Well, I can't. You know, like my whole family's from there,
yeah.
and so when I went back there, you do sort of
turn it on.
Blended, yeah. But it's pretty. You know, the places that I was hanging out gets pretty guttural.
Well, yeah,
it's
you don't
like,
understand anything, right?
For F's sake, I started ending every sentence with "for F's sake" and whatever. But then it was funny. I'd go out to the country, and there'd be like sweet people. They'd be like, "Are you going to Dublin? Oh, mind your bags." like I'm gonna get ripped off. And then I'd get in London, and they'd be like, "Oh, the country." Anyway, it's pretty funny. It's the duality of Ireland. One of my favorite places.
I need to go to Ireland. That's on my list.
And it's not only is it one of the most beautiful countries. Yeah. They were in some drought when I went there. Still the greenest place on earth. And Scotland, I hear, is fantastic too.
It was a good time. It was a good time. Didn't understand half of what I was being told, but yes, it was fantastic. Favorite book? This is applicable for you because you were an English lit major. Yes,
I am going to say it's actually transitioned over the years. I was a big Hemingway guy. I sort of viewed myself as a brooding loner back in my English lit days. So I really gravitated to W.B. Yeats and Ernest Hemingway and James Joyce, and I still love them, but I find myself now embracing the sort of less, man is alone against the void, and he places a shotgun against his head and dies. So the more uplifting stuff. I've just gone back and reread a lot of the F. Scott Fitzgerald short stories. They're brilliant.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with him.
Okay, let's go with him. I like it.
Thank you.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Have a cup of tea.
Okay. Look at that theme. Who's the last person you text messaged?
Actually, it was one of my co-stars from The Gift.
Oh.
It was David Denham, who's in 13 Hours, and with John Krasinski. Just got back from that, and he's a wonderful guy. And PJ O'Byrne.
It was a group chat.
It was like they each texted after, and I sent them, and I don't remember which one was first, so I'm going to include them both.
It's fine.
Both brilliant actors. Please support their work.
I will. How's that?
Yeah.
A historical figure you'd like to have tea with.
Historical figure I'd like. You know, I actually did. I don't know if I'd like to have tea with him. I did a whole thesis on Socrates.
Oh.
Yes. I
Wow.
was a political philosophy major as well. You can see I'm applying it in my daily life
You are.
today.
You are.
As one of America's most working actors, you see my English and political science degrees in full force. Anyway, I apparently wrote some radical thesis that said that, you know, the question is, was Socrates out to destroy the Athenian democracy? Was he like undermining it, almost sabotaging it? And my thesis, which may have not have been original, my mentor said it was that he knew very well that he could not overthrow the system, so he was just trying to be a total pain in the ass in order to improve it, and yet they still killed him. So I'd like to actually
Talk to him about that.
talk to him about it, but I don't speak Greek. It would actually be
You would in that instance.
And I have no idea if it would work. It might have all been Plato's creation anyway, because sort of his fictionalized version in Plato's Republic is, this is the way Socrates talked. But we don't know if it was actually Socrates. It might have just been Plato using Socrates.
I feel like I just
this is
was
like,
educated too. Yes, I feel like that could
are
be a
we
whole
supposed
other.
to talk about pop culture? Well, anyway, go
It-
read Plato's Republic. It's a fantastic read.
Watch next year. You'll be
Plato's Republic, #1 on New York Times bestsellers list.
just now. Last TV show that you binged. I was gonna say binge watched, and then I combined
I have
it.
to say, Wayward Pines, my show, because I was filming in Boston and I could not catch it live, and so I would like have 3-4 episodes built up, and then I'd watch them all at once.
Power.
So yeah, I'd power through it. But what was I'd say that in the true binging sense, the show, and this is going to sound unoriginal, Breaking Bad, I had saved it almost like a savory treat that was waiting for, you know, and everyone's
Savory
like,
whatchamacallit.
yeah, maybe it should be sweet. I don't know.
know.
Something that I knew was fantastic, and I started watching it, and it was
good
on
one.
the treadmill, and I had to every day go through it. In fact, Aaron Paul was in Central Intelligence with me, and it was so hard not to fanboy out on him because, you
love
know,
the show.
I loved that show.
I think Wayward Pines, though, that's one, like right now I'm, I think, 4 episodes behind.
Yes,
So I
many
will be
people
binging.
are. So actually, it's funny. Like even though the finale has just aired,
I know.
it was unknown to me as well. So last night at the gift premiere, people were saying, "So that finale," and I remember just going, "Yes." Shocking, and I have no idea what had happened. So it was.
I know. I was
pretty
like, "Don't tell
spectacular.
me anything." That's
Yeah,
what I was going to say
I
to
won't
you.
say anything.
Don't say anything.
suppose.
If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Flight.
Great. That's a good one. Favorite song on the radio right now?
I got turned on to The Weeknd, and I know he actually was really kind of cool and under the radar, and he still is, but now I guess he's the biggest hit. But his music is the same integrity, and he's just incredible.
He's killing it.
He's really killing it.
I agree with you.
And when Tom Cruise did I Can't Feel My Face on, did you see that? On Jimmy Fallon, he got into a lip sync battle, and he sang The Weeknd. He
Oh.
lip synced I Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd.
I will
It broke
YouTube
the
this.
television. It was fantastic. It was so good.
Oh. Well, I mean, I think after 50 Shades, it was just like, that's it. The Weeknd, you're in it to win it.
I guess
Well,
maybe
it
that's
was-
what,
it was- yeah.
or the duet he did with Ariana Grande, or I don't know, but
Well,
he's
that one helped.
phenomenal.
Yeah, no, he's so good. Okay, now back to you. So a movie that you were on where you laughed the most on set.
This is an easy one because, well, I take it back. So I just come off Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart. I've never laughed so hard, like tried to keep a straight face. All my scenes are with Kevin Hart. You know, Amy Ryan and I are basically pursuing him and The Rock all over. You know, they're sort of fugitives on the run. And Kevin Hart, when he gets going, it's a force of nature. He's probably one of the funniest human beings I've ever been around in my life. That being said, the set of Leatherheads,
I knew you were going to say that.
to a man, everybody from Clooney to Krasinski to Renee to everybody and all the guys, I think if you asked almost everybody on that crew, and I worked with a lot of them since, it was the most fun you could ever have on a set, the most laughter, the most joy, I don't know if it's the greatest movie. It was George's passion, 10 years in the making, and actually that kind of holds up now because it's really just a fun romp. But we had so much fun making that movie. It's like 4 months being in Lost Boy Neverland.
Like a frat house,
but like a kinder, gentler frat house, because there's just you know half the humor was we were like the Jackass guys, just constantly pranking each other, and it was really fun.
Okay, so then based on that, what was your favorite character that you've played so far?
Oof.
Could be a tie. I mean, you've played so many. That's hard, probably.
I mean, there are just things that me personally, I like. If I was going to create a bucket list, I was always a huge fan of Star Trek, like the original one growing up, like the William Shatner Star Trek. When I heard J.J. Abrams was rebooting it, I actually sort of did like an Oprah vision box or something where I said, if I could just get on this movie in any capacity, literally, because if you ever go back and you're a fan of Star Wars, say, everybody that says anything in Star Wars, whether it's like the Death Star is in range, you go, God, if I could have been in that, or Lord of the Rings, you say, like, I would have done anything. And to the point that I actually signed on to Cloverfield, which J.J. Abrams was producing, in the hopes that he would be on set and that he would put me in Star Trek. And he did. I didn't happen from that, but I don't know. But I mean, it just so happened that he was really cool, and he had us all up for different parts. And the cool thing about J.J. is, I think the part that Thor ended up playing, Chris Hemsworth as Kirk's dad, I think that's what I was in original consideration for. And when Chris Hemsworth came around and just got all 6'3", Australian, jacked, handsome guy, he still was like, well, I still want to find a place. So he made me like the Scotty of that ship, the engineer of, unfortunately, the doomed USS Calvin. Couldn't have put me on the Enterprise, JJ. But
yeah.
So that was like a dream come true. I mean, working with Clooney, a dream come true. Just you pinch yourself every time. It's but sometimes when I go back and I watch something, there's an exchange in a movie called Fair Game, the Valerie Plame story, where it's me facing off against this actor playing Scooter Libby, and I thought we were going to come to blows in this thing. It's just like we're just talking, but we're talking over each other, and I'll never forget. It was like one of the Doug Liman directs it. It's a great movie, Naomi Watts and Sean Penn. But it was pretty real. And when I'm so proud that it's on film, because we just did not. It was one of those things where we just alphaed each other, and I don't know what. Was
it like a one-take deal?
It was something that Doug Liman just let it go, and we just went. But I mean, this guy came after me. I think David Andrews is the actor, and he's in everything. We became great friends afterwards. He wouldn't talk to me during the shooting, and at the read-through, this guy, a read-through is like a play reading. We don't know our lines, and there's a lot of dialogue, and especially in that movie, and this guy, I see him staring at me from across the room, and I'm sitting next to Sean Penn. I'm like, is he staring at Sean or is he staring at me? And during this read-through, I noticed this guy is never looking at his script. And when it comes to our scenes, this guy launches into, we each have long monologues, one rolling over each other. And I'm like, this motherfucker's not going to look at it. Can I swear?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm like, this fucker's not going to look at his script. And he's eyeballing me, and everyone's watching us because this is the big confrontation over the yellow cake uranium. And I'm like, well, guess what, David Andrews? I'm not going to look at my script. And it became like this very intense, because I was just like, I'm going to lose my place, and I'm going to look like a jackass in front of all of these amazing people.
Yeah.
But I was like, this guy's not going to let up on me. So we went after each other so hard, and that became what Doug Liman is like, that's what I want you guys to do in the film, because it wasn't written that way. It was written totally different. But so it's one of those things that sometimes we're like, wow, so glad they got that on film, where,
And then other times you're like,
why did
they get that
take?
on film? Yeah.
Yes.
Why did they use that?
Why did they not edit that out, please?
Right.
Yes.
You're like, I would have preferred that. Favorite place you filmed. Have you filmed in Ireland?
I never filmed in Ireland.
Okay, so then.
And I always thought it'd be great to film in Chicago. I got to do ER there for a little bit, but like the 14th season, and actually. Boy, when it comes to location, I'd say Vancouver, where we shot Wayward Pines is actually one of the most beautiful locations.
And
I've
actually,
ever
the way
shot in.
that I mean, I don't know how they architected that set, but
Right.
it
No,
looked
real town. It was a real town,
way out
far
there.
away, but then they built like one side of the town was real, the other side was a facade. But I mean the mountains in the back, all of that.
And the fence.
Yeah, it's well.
I don't
I'm not
know.
Gonna
Okay.
get into the
The fence.
techniques of
There's
it.
yeah,
there might
that's
be
true.
CGI. I'm
Crap!
not sure.
Did I just do a spoiler? Well, there could be a small
There's a
fence, big
fence?
fence.
Yes.
I didn't say anything. No, I did not.
But anyway, that's one of the most beautiful places.
Okay. So, that was not that rapid, but I feel like we covered a lot of goodness
We
just
sure
now.
did.
We did. So, you've already mentioned you have a political philosophy and English lit degree. So, your initial intention with those was what?
What
did you wanna do?
Pursue academics. It was.
Oh, so to be a teacher, professor.
I thought, yeah, I was going to go to grad school. I think this story has been told by me, but I'll trot it out anyway.
Not on iTalk Movies.
Now, here we go. It's, everyone's always like, oh, it's all I've ever wanted to be when I was 12 was an actor. Well, I was an actor when I was 12. I was doing theater in Chicago.
Musicals and stuff.
All of the above.
Yeah.
And thought it was fun, but never thought it was a career. I think, if you ever hear Brando be like, that's not a career for a person to do. And in my mind, I just felt like it was like Menudo, something that would ultimately expire once you reached a certain age. So I had always been totally geared on getting an education and moving on after acting. And it was actually my mentor at the University of Vermont who is the one who urged me to go back to Los Angeles. And he totally changed my life because he said, the life of academia will always be here for you.
Right. It's true.
But he's like, you're a gifted actor and
You should do it.
you should go back there. And so
And now you've been in everything.
and I've been in everything. Thanks,
It's true.
teacher.
Your first movie role was in the John Singleton directed Higher Learning.
Higher learning.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
How did that experience set the tone for all your sort of future film roles?
That, I got to say, there used to be, not so much, you don't see it at today, TV stars cross over into movies and commercial actors. It's
Yeah.
all, like, we're all just in one giant whore fest where everybody just sells out everything. But there used to be a stigma that you were a TV
Right.
actor. So I remember I was so proud to break into television, and then I was like, oh God, if I could ever do a movie. And then I went in and I met John Singleton. And I think he took one look at me, and I used to have like long blonde hair, and I think he thought this kid's gonna be like some surfer kid or whatever, and I was from Chicago. And there was something that he told me afterwards. He's like, I just, there was something about you that you were not what I expected. So he wrote a part for me in that movie, and it totally
Cool.
changed my life because he had such bona fides that once I had done Higher Learning, then every other director,
Game on.
like, you worked with John Singleton, and then we did Abduction years later, and
Right.
he was like, oh my God, he didn't even realize I was the same guy that he had given a break to all those years ago. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty.
How many years had passed at that point?
I mean, it was
lot?
probably 10,
Okay.
15 years between.
No more long hair.
Yeah, and I
Right.
looked at, and he just knew me from other stuff, and I'm like, do you remember I was the guy at the beginning of your movie? And he's like,
Oh my God.
that's exactly what he did. His
Right.
mind was blown.
John Singleton. All right.
Great, really great guy.
So, as you mentioned, you recently played Adam Hassler in Wayward Pines.
Yes.
Which, love. So you mentioned in some other interviews that M. Night Shyamalan was very candid, like, ask me anything, I'll tell you whatever you want to know, whatever. Do you feel like, in the case of preparing for a role, better to know everything or better to go, like, week by week and get things, I guess in the case of a show?
Yeah. I evolved on this one because even though he said, ask me anything, I was originally hesitant and resistant because I didn't know if I wanted to know.
Mm-hmm.
And Terrence Howard has
I
sort
know.
of famously gone on record going, he didn't want to know anything. He
Right.
was like, I don't even want to know if I'm a good guy or a bad guy. And that's what made his Sheriff Pope such a
Oh,
fascinating character, because he thinks he's the hero of his story, and he's actually quite a pernicious person. But he, so actually, I was taking Terrence's lead on that one, and then midway through filming, I broke down. I'm like, just
Tell me everything,
Tell
yeah.
me everything. And they actually told me, Hassler actually has an amazing sort of journey that spans all 3 books. It's sort of only briefly addressed in the first 10 episodes. I mean, the first 10 episodes. It's supposed to be a standalone 10 episode only.
I know.
And I don't know what's going to happen to that, but it was such a hit that there are
wink,
talks.
wink.
There are talks, and it's I've been contacted, and but I don't know. You never know what's going to happen or what, like so many of the characters' fates. I won't do any spoilers. They're all in the air, Hassler included.
It was so well done.
But I mean, that's what's sort of great about it is
Yeah.
it could go in any direction. But I was just really proud that the series was such a hit for them. Yeah, I think we're all going to go out. The cast is going to join him on the red carpet for the premiere of his movie, The Visit. Those of us that can make it, I'm going to try to. I'm going to see if I can get the dates clear. And
Visit, The Gift, it's all right. We're in the realms of all that. So I was on the after show. I filled in a few times for Wayward Pines, and I mean, literally after every episode, we'd all be like, "How is this only 10 episodes?" You know,
Right.
it was like we were angry. So yes, we all support the notion of figure it out.
well, it's kind of
Chad,
great because
right?
Chad and
Chad.
Blake
Yeah.
and Donald DeLine and M. Night Shyamalan
And all those guys.
Ashwin. Yeah, there's
Figure it
a
out.
great team behind it. But I know that the tricky thing was they really wanted to provide a satisfying standalone 10 episodes like that would tell a complete story and that sort of to be the anti-Lost, not to throw Lost is one of my favorite shows
I binged
ever.
it. Mm-hmm.
I mean ever, and I love the ending, but I had so many fans come up to me, and then they see me wear Dharma t-shirts or whatever, and they'd be like, "This Wayward Pine's gonna be like Lost," in other words, like leaving me unsatisfied. I said, whatever happens, there will be a resolution to this story and the characters. And so it's exciting that it could, you never know.
I think they will. I'm just going to say it. A little prediction. All right.
Yes.
So now let's talk about The Gift. It's coming out next Friday. You were at the premiere last night.
I was at the premiere and I saw it. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes or something absurd. I don't know what it is.
Is that just based on like the premiere that people? No.
No,
like,
there
what?
were I guess the few people that reviewed it before, which obviously
100%.
is a small, and it was Joel Edgerton and his brother and his family. Just they loved it, and but I gotta say it blew me away. It for a first time director. Oh my God! I mean, it shows that he's obviously been trained. This is something that is a lifelong passion for him, but he's so good and he stars in it too.
Right.
And he talked about the difficulties of directing himself
Right.
and being objective. Like I had read the script. I screamed so many times during the premiere. It is shocking. It's like, it's a true psychological thriller. I mean, I can't overstate it enough. It's really, and the twists are freaking fantastic.
Okay, well, it's on my
so
list.
good. I'm not shilling. It's a really great.
You're just saying that.
Well,
no.
listen, I've been out there shilling like you
Don't-
gotta go see Smurfs or whatever. I wasn't in Smurfs.
I like
But-
on the poster, not every gift is welcome.
Yeah, well, it's funny. The original working title for years, it's been in development for 10 years. It was Gordo the Weirdo. And
What?
that's the character that Joel plays. This guy Gordo, whose nickname in high school was, Gordo the Weirdo. And I think The Gift is so much when you see the way it works into the movie, the theme and the way they've been promoting it, it's pretty cool. Because,
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously we can't go too deep into it, or else we'll give everything, it all
Yes.
away. But talk to us about your character, Kevin Keylor. Keylor?
Kevin KK. I don't remember.
KK
it's
Keylor?
Keylor and KK. Whatever it is. It's. Kevin.
Kevin.
Everybody
Let's
knows.
talk Kevin.
Everybody knows him as Kevin because he basically is running. So Jason Bateman is moving back to start a new job, to start a new life. He and his wife, played by Rebecca Hall.
Love her.
Who's great, and like, she's really the heart and soul of the movie. And Jason Bateman, they're both so good. They're coming back. Jason's starting this new job, and he's sort of floundering in this new reality, which is, he even says it in the, back in the day, it used to be if you were a kid, a teenager, you'd work your way from the mailroom and maybe in 20, 30 years they'd let you up into the executive board. Now you've got millionaires who are 19 years old running these Fortune 500 companies. So he's now, at 35 or whatever he's playing, is suddenly like trying to climb the corporate ladder in an inverted situation where he's like, God, I feel like the old man and with all these kids. And so I play his boss and is trying to mentor him and say, like, trying to help him move along and maybe succeed me. And so we become great friends and develop a real friendship. And there's a lot of great twists and turns.
I'm very excited to see this. So most of your scenes were with him.
Oh, Jason. It's always me and Jason, because either Jason in his corporate world, or we have dinner parties at his house. They got this phenomenal house that they got as a location. I mean, it's kind of an all glass house, which you can. I think that the previews have sort of hinted that, yes, I mean, they're like literally living in a glass house. So if you have sort of a creepy, stalker person who's sort of able to see you from the outside, it's so creepy. There are moments where Rebecca Hall is just wandering through this very stark, modern, empty house with glass doors, and I don't know what it is about it, just freaking terrifying. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh,
sorry.
Dear. Oh, dear. Oh. And you hadn't worked with Jason Bateman before, right? On anything else?
I hadn't. And then the funny thing is, then he came to work on Central Intelligence.
Oh.
Yes, he
Reunited and it feels so good.
I won't give away what he's doing a brilliant cameo in that movie. Okay. But I had never worked with him. Just been a fan of his from afar, and he's I think the thing that'll surprise everybody is everyone knows what a fantastic comedic actor he is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was Joel or whoever came up with the brilliant idea to sort of cast against type and put him in this very dramatic role. I can't tell you how well it works, because he uses all of those Jason Bateman tools, all of that charm, all that quick wit. You realize that's sort of this guy's mechanism for sort of climbing the social ladder, and all of his charm and all of that. And then when you realize there's sort of a dark underside that I don't know if Jason has or not, but he sure as hell can play it. I mean, he's just, I think he's been acting since he was 13.
He's been in
12.
it for a while.
I mean, I say that he is probably the pro's pro. He's incredible.
I also think, though, that comedic actors, I mean,
yes.
I think there's so many examples of a comedic actor being able to just really give it to you in any dramatic role, too.
They say that if you can do comedy, then
because your timing game is just so, like, I don't know. And just, I guess, being able to feed off of people's energies and stuff like that. It's like there's a gift.
He's got a gift.
There's a gift in that.
There you go.
Wink,
corporate
wink.
type.
Where'd you film that?
Here.
Oh.
It was actually, we're filming in Sherman Oaks, and my wife was like, this was the greatest job ever. I'd literally go to work, go live in this beautiful glass house for a while and do dinner parties and then come back.
Right.
And it was like,
you're like, Daddy's going to be home tonight. Yeah, no problem.
My kids were like, who are you?
Yeah, right? This is unfamiliar.
Dad.
Yeah. So transitioning from crazy thriller movie, The Gift, to are you still working on Central Intelligence, or
we
did
just
you
wrapped it?
Okay.
We just wrapped.
Okay.
I mean, I think they actually still have a week of shoots with The Rock. There's a lot of special effects and all of that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was 3 months in Boston, blowing things up.
You're an agent again.
Yes.
You've been an agent in many things. Agent something.
It's always
no real estate agents though yet. No.
Not yet. But I mean, in The Gift, I play, sort of like, it's actually different. I'm like a boss and a regular person. But yes, in this one, I didn't say no, because it was The Rock and Kevin Hart, but also they partnered me with Amy Ryan, who's brilliant.
I love her.
Birdman, and she's in everything. And the comedy works because we are very believable as like the deadpan CIA that is chasing them.
Serious.
And I said that's where the comedy's going to play. But that being said, Kevin Hart and I there were some moments that
you're like, cut.
He pulls things out of you. Yeah. It was also like such a thrill to be able to make him lose it, because he's so hilarious.
Right.
And so to sort of turn about on him, and I won't when you see the movie, there's a sequence with Doritos that I won't give anything away, but Kevin, I'm sure in the outtake reel you will see Kevin Hart literally just unable to continue because he gets the jump on me. I'm eating Doritos. Let's just say things go flying, and there was something about it all, because we had to come up with a device where why don't I just shoot him when he comes through the door? And it's because this jackass is eating Doritos, and like the way that everything unfolded, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So
in no scenes with The Rock.
Yes. No, I'm all scenes with The Rock.
Oh, okay.
Well, here's the thing. The Rock is who we are all pursuing.
Right.
And he kind of ropes Kevin in to his mad world. It's actually like the comedic inverse of The Gift. Two guys reconnecting 20 years after high school. They're completely different people from who they used to be. And, The Rock just shows up. He was like a completely different person in high school, and so when Kevin Hart accepts his Facebook reply, where they meet for drinks, and he's like, "Oh my God," like, who is this guy? And it's like he's now the Hulk, and he's a super spy, and he's all this stuff, and then of course he realizes they have drinks, they sleep over, and then the next morning we come knocking on the door, going, "Have you seen this man? He's one of America's most dangerous fugitives." Boom! Then the chase ensues, and it's pretty fantastic.
That sounds good.
It's really good.
That sounds
and they're good. It's just when you see them side by side.
No, hilarious, right?
Oh,
because it's like,
yeah, it's
levels.
It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. That's not till
I think that's next summer. So I think that's summer's
a while off.
tentpole movie. That'll be the big. That's going to be the big one.
So are we going to see you in anything between next Friday and next summer? I mean, I'm sure it's
I'm always
yes.
on.
Yeah.
People will tell me, like, you turn on any TV, any movie, I'm
there.
probably on your television. Somebody said, I think, the TiVo to my name, and they were like, I turned you off because you just were clogging up. It's like whether it's Covert Affairs or Prime Suspect, like there's always some, the Grey's Anatomy is on every other day, and it's like,
get Tim off my screen. Get him off.
You're welcome, America.
Okay, is there an actor that you'd like to work with again? I mean, obviously you just worked with Jason Bateman again, but is there another actor that pops into your brain that you'd like to work with again?
That is a good question. There's so many.
I know.
I mean, there's I loved working with Matt Damon in Born Supremacy. He's like one of, and maybe it's just coming from Boston, it made me nostalgic for all my, like Ben Affleck and I did a show together, and it'd be an interesting experiment to reunite with some of these people, and like now that we all are married with kids,
different time.
Different time in life.
All right, and then an actor that you'd like to work with that you haven't yet worked with, considering all the people that you have interacted with.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, who am I gonna?
Who have you not worked with, Tim?
I mean, it sounds like a shameless plug, but it's literally like, who have I?
Right. Or director, or both.
Well, director, I'd love to work with Dave Fincher.
Okay.
He's one of my
choice.
bucket lists and Wes Anderson, two of my, I just think those guys, for completely different genres, both brilliant. Just really admire their work, and actor-wise,
You have to marinate on that.
People. Yeah.
You're like, let me think. I'll tweet you later, Allison.
I guess I should. I'm sure there's like a billion of them that I haven't, but we'll find
Maybe
out.
not a billion. Well, no, I don't think a billion, but
Yeah.
okay.
It's like asking Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon, who would you like to? I think between Bacon and I, there's nobody left, but
All right.
we'll find out.
All right. And then any sort of in the next, I don't know, batch of time, is there like a dream project that you're, besides Wes Anderson, David Fincher, perhaps that could fall into that category, but...
I'd love for them to reboot Lord of the Rings and cast me as Legolas, and I think I was a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, but they're so perfect. I don't want you to reboot them. They're perfection and they should never be touched. I don't know. There are a lot of things out there. I'm actually excited. I did the finale of Aquarius with David Duchovny, and those are my old bosses from Prime Suspect, John McNamara, who's brilliant. And he literally wrote me into the final scene of the final episode of the first season to be David Duchovny's foil for the next season. And then they just got a season 2. So I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know what my availability is, but I do know that there's nothing better than working with those guys.
Tim Griffin is going to keep on working, is the moral of this story.
I think so.
Y'all, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So everyone, be sure to check out The Gift next Friday, August 7th, 2015. I have to say this because it's on YouTube, so it'll be like, next Friday, what day? Yeah. So next Friday, everyone, we'll all be going. Or there's probably a midnight showing on the 6th, I'm sure, at the ArcLight or something like that.
Is that what they do? On Thursday? Yes.
They do, especially if it's what you're saying. Rotten Tomato action is happening. I'm going to say yes.
That actually would be a good one. Oh, my God. Actually, I don't know if I'd see it at midnight.
Midnight.
It'll scare the shit out of you. Yeah.
But go see that. And then definitely we'll all be going to check out Central Intelligence. And as the tentpole summer fantastic goal
watch, then it
thing.
plays at Sundance.
Yeah, you're like,
The Rock,
and it's
Sundance.
in January. No, right. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's such a pleasure.
I'm very excited for everything else that you'll be peppering my screen with in the near future.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, we'll support you for as long as you keep popping up on our screens. Yes.
Thank you.
Right?
Vice versa.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone, to another iTalk Movies with Tim Griffin. Be sure to support him. We'll see you soon. I'm the Alison Dean, or I am Alison Dean. You can find me at the Alison Dean. Where can they find you? At
the Tim Griffin.
Easy. Look it. We're simpatico on this.
Yes.
So do that too, but no Instagram, right? Because Dwayne.
I think somebody thankfully got my at the Tim Griffin, but I have to. I think I have yet to send an Instagram. I think I want Kevin Hart to do it for me.
I think that's I think you could get probably a lot of followers that way.
Apparently he's got like millions.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah. I
encourage that idea. Have a great rest of the day, week, year, whenever you tune in, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers.
Bye.
Ciao.
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 From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.